How will you sound when you talk?
Has this ever happened to you? You're walking along the street, and then all of a sudden, you get hit in the head by a toilet seat? And then you're like, where did that toilet seat come from? And you look up, and there's some guy laughing from his apartment window 3 stories up, pointing down at you, and he's saying to his buddies, hey, look at that guy. Look at that guy whose toilet seat I hit with my toilet seat. Because you had a toilet seat the whole time.
That was really good.
Thanks.
This podcast is brought to you in part by Dragon Shield. Use code PLAYTOWIN5 at the affiliate link down below for 5% off to help support the show.
Welcome to the Play to Win podcast, where we talk about winning in cEDH. I'm Cam.
And I'm Dylan. This week we are talking about 2026, some predictions, some new information. I know just recently we posted a live podcast where we talked about from MagicCon Atlanta.
That's absolutely right, but that was recorded in September and released in December.
Right, so we developed some opinions and some thoughts on some of the upcoming sets for 2026. There has been some new information revealed. We're going to talk about that stuff, and then we're also going to talk about just how we think the cEDH meta is going to grow and change. This is all based off of, I don't know, just shit we see. We're chronically online and we play a lot of cEDH, so who knows if any of it's going to be right, but this is just our predictions.
Yeah, the last time we talked about 2026 stuff was when we were talking about like Magic as a whole.
Right.
But now we get to focus a little bit more in on cEDH, which is what I care about most.
I'm excited to do it. Do you have somewhere to start? Do you have a little thing on your pad?
I have somewhere to start, yeah. Well, we got a lot more cards from the Marvel set, which is like one of the sets that's getting released kind of like in the middle of the year. I think June 2026 is when we are going to be getting this one. But there's a lot of really cool cards that we got here, and I think Bruce Banner was one we were talking about a little bit yesterday that I think is going to be interesting. And it's not really one that I was thinking about too hard as a cEDH commander when I first read it. But after we were talking with some of our patrons yesterday about it, I think that this makes sense as to being something you can do.
It's almost something specifically. It has a couple things going for it for a cEDH standpoint, and a couple things that kind of are irrelevant on it that are just like part of the flavor of the card that might not come up. So the main thing is a Teamer Legend for 1 mana. That's important. That's good. That's relevant. Because
it's a blue mana. I'm going to read it, I guess.
Yeah, we should.
It's a blue mana for a 1/1 legendary human hero scientist that says for X and X, you can tap it to draw X cards at sorcery speed. And for 2 red, red, green, green, you can transform them at sorcery speed into the Incredible Hulk, who's an 8/8 with reach and trample. And you can enrage him so that whenever he's dealt damage, you put a +1/+1 counter on him. And if he's attacking, you get to untap him. And there's an additional combat phase after this phase.
There's some important wording on the backside of the Hulk here, or I guess the Hulk side of Bruce Banner, the backside of Bruce Banner.
I look at them as 2 different cards. It's got the same Spider-Man setup, where you can cast Bruce Banner for 1 blue mana, or you could also cast the Incredible Hulk.
How much mana does a Hulk cost?
6 mana, 2 red, red, green, green. It's the same transform
I didn't
setup.
even realize that. Okay, interesting.
Yeah, well, that's super
realistically,
cool.
you're probably not going to do that very often.
Not until you're ready to win the game. Yeah, I feel like what you were saying is that the strength of this card is that it's a cheap rug commander.
Yeah, well, that is the strength, but since we just talked about what the Hulk does, we should probably talk about the combo piece that works with it, because that's really the only main reason why this would be considerable. Is the name of the card Trockle Pups? Trockle? What is it?
You're thinking about Yokel Hops, but it's Calatrops.
Calatrops. Calatrops is the name of an artifact. It's a 3-mana artifact, and Cameron is about to tell you exactly what it does.
It's actually just Caltrops. I added a syllable. I don't know what these are, but it's 3 mana for an artifact that says whenever a creature attacks, Caltrops deals 1 damage to it.
So the Hulk says whenever it's dealt the damage, untapping gets another combat step.
Oh, these are so mean. Do you know what Caltrops are?
What?
Oh, I like the original art better. It's those spikes that you like throw down on the ground and then the Home Alone villains come into your house and step on them. That's what they are. But in the 7th edition art, it's like bigger ball spikes and it's like horses that are trampling on them. And that's like animal cruelty. And Eric Peterson, I have a bone to pick with you about this art. And war. I guess I have a bone to pick with all of war, too.
That's fair. But from a gameplay perspective, this will allow you to get infinite combats. Does the Hulk get indestructible?
No, but he'll get a +1/+1 counter as part of the enraged. So he'll always remain at 8 toughness.
Yeah.
damage percentage.
Yeah.
What does that mean?
No, yeah, that's right. That's
Yeah.
how much it is. He'll always have 8 more.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so it'll always balance out, which will let you get infinite combats, and as long as someone's board can't deal with the Hulk, you're good to go.
Right, yeah. There probably is a certain math equation that could figure out the power and toughness, because Hulk will be able to smash through everything, but if you have like a 10-10, Hulk isn't going to be able to get through it.
Well, I guess that's the other thing, too. Like, you can keep attacking one person, and then your
bigger,
Hulk
bigger,
just
bigger.
gets, like, bigger and bigger and bigger. I'd have to figure out what that math is to figure out, like, oh, does that mean you can get it to 40 before you can take someone else out? But I don't think that's going to be the case.
Either way, the struggle with this is going to be that you have to have your commander in play already and then play your Choco Hops. What is it called?
Caltrops?
Caltrops. The Hulk doesn't have haste, so it has to avoid summoning sickness. So you have to play it first, and then you have to later cast the Caltrops.
Which I guess makes sense as to why, you want to play Bruce Banner first.
Right, yeah. So that does suck, and it's also probably going to fit in a shell that's very similar to a Rog Thras deck, where you're using Gaia's Cradle, you have a cheap legend in the command zone, you can make a bunch of mana, and then rather than activating Thrasios, you instead have to just dump it into one activation of Bruce Banner, which is overall probably worse, I'm going to say. In some ways, it could feel a little bit better because you're drawing a big bunch of cards, drawing them right into your hand at one time.
I don't think that will ever feel better than like the ability to stop at a certain point when you need to, because Ogre's Bowmaster is a card.
Right.
Could you imagine putting this on the stack?
Yeah.
And then thinking that you're going to win the game?
And then, no. And then also sorcery speed. Also, you can only do it once per turn and only at sorcery speed. So it's obviously 1,000 times more limiting. The Thrasios, I don't know. But the main thing that I think that's cool is just the one card win con out of it.
Basically, yeah. Like in theory, you could play Rog Thras, but instead you can just put Caltrops in for whatever card you hate the most.
Right.
Or is now like least synergistic in the deck now, and you can just like basically play the same deck, but you have a whole different axis you can fight on, which having a Haymaker in the command zone is something else that we do say is good. So this is still technically card advantage, cheap, and now it's a Haymaker and a one card win condition. Like it's a win condition in the command zone too. So that's like an additional thing that you get out of it.
It's always tough to say, whether or not these commanders will actually be able to keep up with the tier 1 decks of cEDH metagames and tournaments and stuff. Is that possible? I don't know. You have to be like kin and good. You have to be like generationally broken in the game to actually keep up like that. But I do think there's a world where a deck like this could pop off and do well. And I'm interested to see what it does in 2026.
I think the reality though, and now I'm going to bring me down to reality, is that this is going to sit in the exact same home that Yoshimaru Thrasio sits in, which is, well, there's a clearly better deck that you could be playing, but you like this one, and this one's even cooler because it's Bruce Banner and the fucking Hulk.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, which is cool. I can't deny that. That is fucking cool. And there might be other things that we haven't found really yet that work with this other side of Hulk that deal damage, stuff like that, able to get you extra combats. There might be other things. How does the Hulk read in the back? Whenever it's dealt damage when it's attacking, get an extra combat?
Well, whenever it's dealt damage, you get to put a +1/+1 counter on him. And then if he's attacking, you get the additional combat phase.
So if you like gut shot him in combat, that's another combat phase? Is that how that would work?
If you gut shot him during your combat, that's another combat phase. Like if he's blocked at all, that's another combat.
If you have a couple of removal spells
really?
in your cEDH deck, like you have a lightning bolt, okay, well, instead of I don't have anything I want to kill, I just want an extra combat for 1 mana. Like, 1 mana. You had to flip your Hulk and you have to spend, 8 mana or whatever, 9 mana to flip him and be in that situation.
But you can't block this thing without him coming at you for more damage. Like you have to let 8 commander damage through.
Yeah, it's worse for you if you block.
Yeah,
it's gonna be
because they're just going to come at you with a 9 something now.
Yeah. That's going to end games like kind of quick. I mean,
if you block, it takes you out in 2 turns instead of 3 normally.
Yeah.
If you end up chumping
unless you block a second time.
I get. Yeah, but then it gets to go at you again.
And you just die. Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. But realistically, what it does is in cEDH is going to hit you for 8, and that's all it's going to do.
And then you're going to lose on your
because you spent all this mana. Yeah, do nothing. But
sorcery speed.
Unless you have a way to deal damage to it itself, like Lightning Bolt and Gut Shot are ways. There might be other cards that we're not thinking of. The dinosaur cards that deal damage to each of your creatures.
It's probably insanely easy to just take out one player with 2 cards.
Yeah.
Because that's all you need. You just need Gut Shot and Lightning Bolt, and 1 player's down.
Yeah. That's not good enough for cEDH normally, but maybe there's a way you can storm off using a Grape Shot. And no, Grape Shot's a sorcery, so you have to like Born Upon the Win your Grape Shot. And then that
seems bad now.
That's bad now.
Win some way else.
There could be something here. It's a 1 mana commander. That's good, and it's got a 1 card win con. That's good, and it's a Haymaker. That's good. So
that's pretty busted. Yeah,
I'm excited to see what this card does in 2026.
Me too. Yeah, we already talked about World War Hulk, so I don't think we need to go into that one too much.
5 mana Atali.
5 mana Atali is amazing. Yeah, the only other card that I think is a little bit interesting to me is Baron Helmet Zemo. This is black for a 3/3 legendary human noble villain, and whenever you cast a black spell from your hand, he connives, and you can boast him, which means that you can only activate this if Baron Zemo attacked, but you can exile any number of black cards from your graveyard with 15 or more black mana symbols among their mana cost. 15 or more black mana symbols from among their mana cost. And then copy those exiled cards. You may cast up to 3 of those copies without paying their mana cost.
Only 3 of them.
Only 3 of them, yeah. But like Peer into the Abyss and Hoarding Broodlord and something else could be those cards. And then the other ones you have access to because maybe Sacrificer, Cabal, maybe not Cabal Ritual because now it's bad. But like something else that makes you a lot of mana is the other card so that it helps you cast the other cards in your graveyard that you want.
I mean, this is a commander that seems like it was designed to go in a mono black Storm Shell, playing Tendrils of Agony and doing all that stuff. I don't think that that's very good. And also, this card seems like it was monitored very closely. There are several points where they noticed things that could go wrong with this commander, and they're like, let's make that a little bit more difficult, because 15 or more black mana symbols is insane. That limits it to just being in a mono black deck. Also, the 3 black pips of its actual card make it much more limiting. The connive thing is nice. It fills itself, that's true, but 15 or more, and then to only get 3 of them, to not even get all of the spells, you just get 3 of them. Like, obviously 3 is insane, but that's such like a huge ask to have to get that much shit into your graveyard purposely before really like getting anywhere until then, and then only getting 3 of them.
I think it's probably going to be easier to get the black pip requirement than maybe I originally thought with this.
You think it's easier?
I think it's easier, yeah, because every time
15 pips.
Yeah, or more black mana symbols. But like black is the color that has the most mana symbols out of like any color.
You're right there. Out of all the colors, black does it the easiest. That's true.
I don't think the pips is going to be the hardest part. I think it's just going to be finding a way to get them all into your graveyard is going to be the hardest part.
The conniving aspect of it. Every time it's a draw discard or a discard draw. I always forget the order.
It's a draw discard, but that doesn't put you up on cards.
Right, yeah.
It just keeps you technically at negative because there's still one less card in your hand after you cast the spell.
Right, so you have to have something else going along with it that'll allow you to keep going.
You still need card advantage, yeah. But this could be a commander that's really easy to get out on turn 1.
Yeah, and Kirk doesn't really do this. You know, Kirk doesn't really try to storm off in a big way. I was thinking like maybe you put this in Kirk as a way to like turbo through the deck a little bit.
Because it's free in Kirk.
Right, yeah. But I feel like they just need one shot. They just need a tutor. They don't need to really like storm off in the same way. But maybe this would be helpful for them.
I would
in
put
recursion.
Crick in this deck though.
Yeah, for sure.
Because a Phyrexian mana symbol is a black mana symbol.
Yes.
It has to be, because otherwise Crick's color identity probably couldn't be black.
Right, yes, I agree. Yeah.
I love how instead of looking it up, I'm just going to use logic to figure it out. Yeah.
But yeah, this card might be something. I don't think so for cEDH. Maybe I'm missing something. Maybe it's broken and I don't see it, but I'm not seeing it.
Okay. Are there any other Marvel cards that you want to talk about?
Super Skrull is almost Kenrith. Is maybe better than Kenrith. Probably worse than Kenrith.
I think he's worse than Kenrith.
He's less mana than Kenrith. His draw ability, draw 4 cards is a lot of. It's not 4 mana to draw 1 card. It's 6 mana to draw 4 cards.
With Training Grounds, it's way better because instead of 2 mana to draw 1 card, it will be 4 mana to draw 4 cards.
The other abilities, even the damage one, I don't think will actually end up coming. The fact that you have damage in the command zone for creatures is neat, I guess. I don't think it'll really come up.
Having 2 different infinite mana outlets is not really what I would want out of that. I would rather have like what Kenrith has, which is the ability to reanimate something from my graveyard. I think just like the giving haste on things, just like the specific abilities that Kenrith has are just a little bit more versatile.
Here's something, and I don't know if it's anything. I think it's nothing. But if you were to build this in like a turbo deck matter where like you're really like a Terra deck where I just want to get Ad Nauseam or Necro as quickly as possible, then this one kind of works as a nice like, well, I didn't hit my Necropotence, but I did find a bunch of mana. So I'm going to Dark Ritual, Lotus Petal out my commander, and then with my other mana, dump it into a quick draw 4, and then try to build something from there because I don't need the action because my commander is a very low, terrible rate action item.
Yeah.
Is that something?
Yeah, it's like you have a long game commander that can grind out if like you need to, but like your primary game plan is
just
win the game, but like you can also put infinite mana outlets into your deck too as like another win condition if you wanted.
I think that's probably going to end up being bad, but I don't know, something about this command. It's 5 colors, it's got a ton of abilities. varieties, I think it's worth looking at and keeping an eyeball on. And I don't know, maybe if you get all of the Zertas and all of the training grounds and all of those things in, and then you're spending 1 blue mana to draw 4 cards, that's insane. There's some ceiling to this card for sure. And it's a 4 mana 4/5, not flying. Not that that really matters, but like the fact that you can block everything and like stay alive when you need to is neat. I don't know.
It's a cool character from Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom 3 too.
Yeah.
So
something Super Skrull.
Something Super Skrull, yeah. But that's pretty much like the main Marvel stuff that I'm coming across. I'm not super into the Fantastic Four.
No, I think they're neat for the Commander deck. I think it's a neat idea, but we're not going to do anything with them for cEDH, I don't think. Also, this is December 18th right now where we're filming, so something might come out around Christmas and we miss it.
That's
but
the other
that's
thing
why,
too, yeah.
So.
Those are actually the cards that I think I am the most excited about that we have not talked about on the podcast before so far.
Okay, cool.
I think,
yeah,
and it's mostly from that set. We did get like a couple more things from like the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles as well.
I don't even remember what the things we got were.
Yeah, because they're not really that memorable.
Okay.
Is kind of unfortunate. Like they're great for casual and for people who like TMNT, but I'm not. I was never really into Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. I was a little bit too young.
Did these come out already, or they're coming out soon?
They're coming out soon. They're going to be the second set that's released this year. So
and it's a full set?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's a full set. So as a refresher, the sets we're getting next year are going to be Lorwyn Eclipsed. That's coming in January, actually.
I'm
very
so excited
soon.
For that set.
Yo, me too.
It's
that one's going to be
cool.
great. Part of me doesn't even really want to talk about Lorwyn too much because we're going to talk more about Lorwyn in a couple
very
weeks.
soon.
Yeah. And then in March, we're getting the Turtles.
The Turtles. Okay.
Turtles are coming in March, and then we're going to Strixhaven in April.
Wizards?
Like immediately after.
Okay.
Are you talking about the company or are you what we're doing?
Oh, no, it's Strixhaven. We are Wizards.
Wizards, yes. And then Marvel Superheroes in June.
In June? It's that far away.
It's that far away.
And we're talking about it now. Okay.
Well, that's because we're not going to talk about it until June again. So that's why we're getting it done with. Yeah. And then The Hobbit's coming in August. Here's what I want to ask you about this. Do you think there's going to be any reprints from the Lord of the Rings set that we'll see in The Hobbit?
I hope so.
Or are we just going to get entirely new cards for this set?
I don't know if we know this information or not yet. I hope we get stuff like Legolas was in The Hobbit, right? Should I know that as a
He's
fan?
in The Hobbit movies.
Yeah. Is he not in the books of
But
The Hobbit?
I don't know I don't know how faithful those Hobbit movies were. I enjoyed them quite a bit, but I do feel like there was a lot of like do you remember the relationship between the chick from Lost who plays the elf in that movie and then that dwarf?
Made up, right?
That wasn't like entirely made up.
Entirely made up, yeah.
So like I don't know how much Legolas is actually involved.
The reason I bring that up
Hobbit
is because of the card Legolas's Quick Reflexes only has a full art frame printing, and I would love for it to have a normal frame printing. I don't know why, I just think it's nice when Magic cards have the ability to have a regular frame printing on them that doesn't have a foil, so you don't have to worry about them in certain tournaments or whatever in case they warp. So I would love to have a Legolas's Quick Reflexes reprint in the Hobbit stuff, but I don't know if we're gonna get that.
I feel like some of them are gonna be hard because the other thing is that it's a standard set. So like
that card's good in standard?
As much as but like Split Second is something that like they would have to put in a standard set then. Like how are we gonna is that like a whole mechanic?
A whole nother chat. Yeah.
Maybe we get a new version of the One Ring that has Split Second.
Oh, no, that would be so bad.
Well, it's probably going to be way weaker. Like, they're not putting the One Ring in standard. Like, as much as it would be great to have the One Ring reprint, I don't think we're going to be getting this version of the One Ring again.
And the Hobbit it's a standard set.
It's going to be a standard set. Yeah, these are regular sets released this year.
I got to imagine there will be Commander product or extra from the super packs, the collector boosters, where you can get the full frame reprints. Yeah, they got to do like Orcish Bowmaster and the One Ring.
Okay, so we'll get reprints, but it will be like the Thrasios and Tymna that we got from Final Fantasy.
Yes,
like special versions to match like characters. Or
I would assume that's how they would do it. Yeah.
Oh, good. That's what we need. Another premium version of the One Ring instead of just like an easy one to get. Here, this one is going to be $500 instead. Yeah, that's great. Okay, yeah, I think that makes sense. So at least we'll see another version of Orcish Bowmaster.
I don't know. Also, we should clarify for this. We have zero insider information. We're not even. We don't know anything at all.
Everything that we're saying is based on gut feeling.
We do have minor connections to Wizards. We have spoken with people, but nothing about any of this product stuff.
They won't tell us anything.
We're not in any of the meetings. We don't know anything real. We just know that we're going to a Magic Con or something like that. Just as a clarification of like, we don't have any insider information here. We're not even hiding what we do know or something.
Like, what is Reality Fracture? What do you think that is?
Oh, I have no idea. I saw something guessing mono white Liliana or something like that. I don't know if that was just someone speculating.
Oh, we're doing like another time spiral kind of thing?
I have no idea. I only saw one thing about it, and I wasn't sure. I didn't register long enough to see if it was like a true, that's what was happening, or just a speculation. So I don't know.
You know what? Reality Fracture might be more like a what if kind of set. Like, what if Liliana didn't meet the Raven Man and her brother was still alive? And now she's still a cleric, a mono white cleric, and she draws you cards instead of discards cards.
That would be interesting. That would be cool. Is that if that's what it is? Are we just guessing?
I think that's a guess, but I'm not gonna lie. I think it's a pretty damn good guess.
Yeah.
It fractures reality, and it's kind of like the inverse of what that would be.
I have a question.
Yes.
Is Fractured Reality? Is this a set that's coming out next year?
This is a set that we will be getting in October 2026.
Is this what was previously the question mark that we didn't know, or we always knew we were getting?
No, we always knew this. We just still have no idea
what
like any cards that could be in it.
Got it. We're just still guessing about what it is. Okay, yeah, I have no idea for real, but I think that makes sense.
Yeah, I'm just taking that mono white Liliana idea and running with it. That's really all that is.
What other sets are coming out this year?
The last one then is going to be Star Trek in November.
Star Trek. Okay,
yeah.
and those are all the sets you just mentioned?
Those are all
of them?
the sets. We just went through all the sets.
I don't know anything about Star Trek. I know this.
I know that too.
I know that you're the guy.
Spock?
I don't know. Yes, his name I was unaware of. And there's a forehead wrinkly man.
Forehead wrinkly man, yep.
And the bald guy?
And bald guy who
Xavier, Professor X?
He's in an episode of Frasier in season 11, yeah.
That's what I know of Star Trek. That's it. And I know that it's cool. I think the people who love Star Trek fucking love it. Like it's a cool show, and it's progressive, and it's all these like awesome things, but I don't know anything about it.
I've never watched it. No, my dad watched a lot of it.
Okay.
But yeah, I think that's for well, who cares, right? Yeah, who gives a fucking shit?
So yeah, so as far as prediction for Star Trek, I got nothing.
I got nothing. Yeah, besides those characters.
Yeah,
we're gonna see the guy from Reading Rainbow. He's gonna have a card.
Okay. Yeah, spaceships. Right? Aren't spaceships? Didn't we just have spaceships?
We're certainly gonna get Station again.
Station.
Yeah, we're certainly gonna get Station. A lot of different planets. A lot of new creature types. I would imagine for that too. Oh, and Beam Me Up, Scotty is gonna be a card too.
Definitely. Yeah.
Yeah.
100%.
Gonna be sweet. Yeah. Scotty will get a card, and there'll be a cat too. Because something popped up in my YouTube shorts about the guy who played the android having to interact with a cat.
Oh, I don't. Yeah. Okay. Sure.
All kinds of bullshit. Yeah. This is not good content. Let's move on.
All right. What's next for 2026? Right. What else is happening?
So, cEDH as a whole, the meta, Turbo's coming back, right?
I think so.
Turbo's coming back. Did you remember Mardu Summer a couple years ago?
Yeah.
I don't know that we're getting Mardu back, but I think this could be the return of something like a Mardu Summer.
I've seen a lot of Timna Dargo recently, but I think that deck is really well positioned. I think it attacks the meta in a cool way. I think it's super powerful. It just like keeps on going and going and going. It seems like I've heard this a lot from players and from a lot of decks that seem like they're winning, that interaction is going down and people are just like jamming a lot more wins and just trying to win. I think this makes sense. You're more likely to win the game if you just try to win more often rather than just like not dying. You get to draws and tournaments a lot quicker. And I think that a lot of people are realizing that there's still a lot of gas in cEDH, and there's a lot of ways to go very, very quickly and attack these Ristic Study metas. And the way to stop a turbo deck from going quickly is normally bad for the player who's doing the stopping, which is like, I don't know, it puts everyone in a kind of a weird dynamic.
It's a catch-22, like the way that a turbo deck can kind of completely warp a mid-range pod when like everyone expects the game to go a very specific way. Then you keep hands because you expect it to go a very specific way, and then all of a sudden like you lose on turn 2 without the resources that you needed to keep yourself in the game, or like you relied too heavily on someone else to protect you, which is also like the best strategy that you can have against the turbo deck is someone else has a silence.
Yeah, and obviously there's like a huge asterisk on all of this because this is mainly just like our perspective. There's tons of different metagames from everywhere around the world where people are playing all different styles of cEDH. Just because we think that it is moving in a more aggressive way, that doesn't mean your metagame specifically is going to be like this. Doesn't mean every tournament is going to be like this. But overall, from my personal experience, I feel like I've just seen a lot more turbo decks recently.
And it's where I'm having the success too. Like I feel like my games are going way better when I'm able to push early, or like someone else is pushing early and I can capitalize off of them pushing early then too.
Yeah, we talk a lot about like how important talking is in cEDH tables, and it is very important because talking can help you get a draw when you otherwise weren't able to win. But talking can also be important because it can help you just win the game. And that should be like the most important way of talking that we're trying to do, is figuring out ways to win the game. And Turbo really allows that to happen so quickly because a lot of decks are just just not prepared to stop a turn 2 win, like just not able to. And eventually they will be able to, that everything will shift back and Turbo have a little bit more tricky times doing this. Us just saying this on our podcast will probably make everyone try to stop Turbo Deck a little bit more or something. I don't think it works like that, because I don't think you'll see your win rate go up if you purposefully try to stop Turbo Decks.
No, I think you have to like kind of stay within where the meta is going, like until there's an established meta that you know how to anti-meta against, without knowing exactly what your matchups are going to be. Like, it can be too swingy to just go, oh, well, if Turbo's going to come up, well, in my blue farm deck, I'm just going to start running Deafening Silence, because I know that I can still win around Deafening Silence with a Thoracle combo, but that doesn't necessarily increase your win percentage. Like, I feel like you still need to have things that are synergistic with your deck or powerful enough in all circumstances, one of the two, so that way it's not dead in any circumstances, no matter what the matchup is.
Yeah, I think also a part of it is like how you look at your hands when you're trying to decide, is this a hand that I can keep against a Turbopod? I think oftentimes when we are looking to win the game, we're looking for two different things. I'm looking for a Necropotence and a Born Upon the Wind, a Thassa's Oracle and a Demonic Consultation, an Ad Nauseam and a Force of Will backup. And so when we're trying to win the game, we're looking to combine two very powerful things oftentimes. But when we're playing defensively, I think we're just like hoping to rely on one of these things. I'm going to rely on Rhystic Study, or I'm going to rely on Interaction.
I'll draw into the other stuff that I need when I need it.
Right, and that can be part of it, but I think also part of your plan has to be, what I really need to stop Atali is a Mystic Remora and a Spell Pierce or something. I need the card draw and a little piece of interaction. I can't just have interaction, and I can't just have the card draw. You're more likely if you just have the card draw, because you might draw into it, and if you just have the one piece of interaction, it might not be enough. But what you're looking for realistically is not just, this hand has Mystic Remora, I'll keep it, or this hand has Mindbreak Trap, I'll keep it. You need to have hands that have both Mystic Remora and Mindbreak Trap. That's a good way to beat Atali, I think.
Yeah, exactly. Or just like any Turbo deck, really, is like you need to have the resources to stop something already and the ability to try to find more resources, because you're not guaranteed to find all of those resources, because there's only a certain number of them in your deck, and variance is a thing too.
Right, yeah, the odds are truly, they're kind of stacked against you. There's more likely, especially with a deck like some of the best performing Turbo decks like Rogsai and Atali and even Rao, where they just have too much stuff. They can do 3 things in a turn, and you have to stop all of them. It's unlikely that you'll be able to stop 3 things in a turn, and those Turbo decks can present that, and that's why they're good.
This is kind of why Turbo is coming back right now, and why it's still going to be weird to try to run stacks into Turbo decks. So I think if you want to stop Turbo, you just kind of like have to wait for Turbo to get a little bit more prominent before it makes sense to start stopping Turbo. And I don't know if like I'm just in my own little Turbo echo chamber right now, and I'm just like, you can't stop Turbo. We're fucking impossible to deal with. We're just gonna come and fuck up your homes and shit like that. But like, I don't know. I feel like it does not make sense from my cEDH brain. Like, I also play Timna Malcolm probably more than I'm playing Atali right now. And I feel like when I'm in those pods against Turbo decks, that's kind of what I feel like I need. I need a mulligan for card advantage, or at least like a way to get Timna out and a way to stop something. So like, I kind of like having the card advantage in my command zone too, so I can be a little bit more flexible with the opening hands that I have.
Perfect reason why Timna is so powerful, because it's half of the shit that you need in a lot of the games that you need.
Yeah, why Blue Farm, again, is one of the best decks, is because it can go fast, it can mid-range when it needs to, and it always has card advantage in its opening hand that's easy to cast on either turn 1 or turn 2, and have ready for turn 2 or turn 3, basically.
Right, yeah, like when you need to stop the Turbo deck and you're looking for Rhystic Study and Force of Will and you don't find it, or at least this hand has Dispel, so now I have Timna and Dispel, which is like almost like what I was looking for. You still have half of it.
And it's really nice when like you get to play cards like Fierce Guardianship and Deflecting Swat, when like you're incentivized to run out your card advantage commander on turn 1, so that way you have interaction on turn 1 that's free and ready to go for those Turbo players then too. I feel like it just kind of really goes to show that like even Dark Ritual out for Timna, like I'm looking for those kind of plays now moving forward. Like as a mid-range deck that wants to survive as the Turbo meta is coming up, like I need to make sure I get something else like this. I remember last time, I'm rambling for a second, but I like remember last time when we went into the Turbo meta, like it was no longer good for you to get like Thrasios out on turn 2. Like if you wanted to get card advantage, you had to have Thrasios out on turn 1 and an activation ready to go on turn 2 all of the time, which meant like you needed Mana Crypt, you needed a Mana Rock or something like that. And I feel like these are the kind of things that midrange is going to have to keep in mind as it's going to evolve in the upcoming Turbo meta that I really think is coming up.
Yeah, I definitely do think that midrange can keep up with Turbo. There are things that you can do, like you said, establish your card draw on turn 1, not on turn 2, so that on turn 2 you can hold up interaction and then on turn 3 you reestablish again because you have to make it to turn 3 and not die. There's things that you can do with your words. You can show a mind break trap when you don't want to use it just yet, in hopes that you can have an Italia player go, okay, I'll wait. I guess I won't cast it just yet. Not all Italia players are going to listen. Sometimes they're just going to jam and say, okay, I'll just take it out of your hand. You have to take those bets, but there are things that you can do to try to stay alive, and I think mid-range players certainly can do that, but you and I have been having more success going fast, I think.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that's just going to continue to be how it goes. Yeah, I feel like now when I'm playing games, like it feels way easier to get wins with the Tali than it does Timna Malcolm. Like I feel like I'm fighting for my life at every step.
Right.
With Timna Malcolm, like everything has to go so perfectly and have it fall into place. With a Tali, like yeah, kind of it needs to be the same way because I kind of need my opponents to have little to no interaction all of the time. But it's a lot easier to set those scenarios up for yourself in just one instant than trying to find the scenario within 10 turns that's perfect for you, because there's a million times that you could do it, but you have to pick the one time that's the best.
100%. I completely agree. Yeah, Turbo's just, it's so good, right? I don't have nothing else to add. I think you said it perfectly.
Yeah. Do you think there's any like other commanders that might come up a little bit more because of this?
It's hard to say. I'm excited to see some of the new commanders that we get for sure. I'm excited to see if Bruce Banner, like we talked about, if that's going to be actually anything or not. I really like Marnius recently as like if you're looking for a mid-range deck to like be able to deal with the turbo decks. Obviously Blue Farm, because number one, I feel like Blue Farm can kind of sway. Recently I feel like it's maybe a little bit more of a fast deck. It's more of a turbo deck. It seems like a lot of decks that I'm seeing are speeding up a little bit.
Going towards the turbo meta. That
right,
makes
yeah,
sense.
and that's why Blue Farm is good, because it can lean in whichever direction it wants to. If it wants to be a mid-range deck, it can do that. If it wants to be a turbo deck, it can do that too. It can win on turn 2 if you build it correctly. Blue Farm obviously always recommend it, especially for 2026, but Marnius is a commander that the more I see it, the more I realize how strong it is and how powerful it can be in that mid to late game. Even other Esper decks too, like Timna Malcolm, I feel like those decks are like prime if you want to be in that like mid-range world. They're like so good at like capitalizing and going way over the top on turn 3. You just have to play with the idea of you can't die on turn 1 or 2.
Yeah, you have to survive. I think that Timna Dargo, like we said already, is something that's going to come up a little bit more. I think that Rocco might have a little bit more potential. It's like seeing rumblings around just like tier 2 right now, just because it's not really putting up a lot of numbers quite yet. But I think like if it just gets a little bit more focus and continues the push for turbo, it can be very scary. Like I played against it recently and it got the Cabbage Merchant, and my feelings on the Cabbage Merchant have definitely changed a little bit. Yeah, like these decks that just want mana. Like it's so tough to go like, oh, I'll interact with you, and you go, I want you to interact with me because I can do the next thing that's in my hand if you do. It's putting them in like a way better position, and I think helps you go like over the top with your turbo deck a little bit more, especially with a commander like Rocco, where it gives you so many more options. Whereas if you could only Rocco X equals 2 versus X equals 4,
Big
like
difference.
It's a completely different ball game for you then.
Yeah, I think Sisei in the same way is a perfect example of like a deck that just like can do stuff like that. It's a kind of a weird comparison, but like things like Rule of Law are thought of as like ways to like stop turbo decks, but things like Cabbage Merchant I think are such an interesting way to stop turbo decks, because rather than just stopping everyone from doing anything, like if a Sisei is out with a Cabbage Merchant and a Storm deck goes for it and gives me a whole bunch of foods, I can just like win over top of them.
Yeah, or even just like if you have Rhystic Study in Cabbage Merchant, like the problem is if you tap out for Rhystic Study, you don't have ways to do the stuff that you draw to interact. But now like you can hold up Swan Song and then hold up Flusterstorm and then like make sure that like you can be protected with the new resources you have.
Yeah, I think those mana Rhystic Studies, those Lothos, those Smothering Tithes, those Cabbage Merchants, I think those are going to prove to be super powerful, because drawing all of the cards in the world isn't helpful if you can't use any mana to cast the spells. Like you have to kind of have both, right?
Yeah, that's the thing. I don't think that the downside is going to come up as much, especially if you're like trying to turbo out what you're trying to do with it, like in Rocco. Yeah. You're never going to be at the point where you're attacking and sacrificing foods, because you're either winning the game or you're dying trying.
That can be another thing where I was talking a little bit earlier about, like if you're trying to be defensive, you need to find two things. It might not always be just interaction and card draw. It could be card draw and mana advantage, because then if you have a Lotho and a Mystic Remora, now when you're drawing the cards, you have a higher ability to use some of the treasures that you're making to cast some of that spells too. So I think that's kind of what you need to be looking for, is like just two things. You still have to find the connection. I have to find a pair of two things that are going to work well together, even defensively.
Yeah, I definitely agree.
As far as other predictions, I'm excited to see what the year comes. I think, as always, I'm excited for Sisei because Legends, and we're getting so much more Universes Beyond product.
And that's only going to be so good for Sisei.
There's just like stuff to try, and there's always like just like new things, and I don't know if it's always going to stick around. I feel like I change the cards in Sisei like every week. But that's kind of, I don't know, that's one of the joys of Sisei.
It's a fun part about that
right,
deck,
yeah. So I'm excited to see some of the new legends for that. I hope we get some more. I know we've just been talking about how powerful like Turbo is, but like selfishly, since I play a lot of Turbo, I hope we get some more Turbo cards. I would love some more rituals. And
I would love some more,
that.
ways to make red mana and stuff like that.
I want more ways to make blue mana. I feel like I've been playing a little bit more Rockside recently. As always, one of my biggest issues is how do I turn all of this Jessica's Will mana into blue mana for Thassa's Oracle later on or something.
Oh yeah, you need like your own mana morphos or something like that.
Dude.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, dude, I would love to play. Yeah.
But it should just be red. I'll do it if it's just like a red mana morphos. Don't make it a blue card. Make it a red card.
A red card that makes blue mana
that can make mana of any color.
That would be so good. I would love a card like that. If we're just talking about wishes.
Yeah. Well, now's the wish.
Oh, the wish part of the podcast.
The wish point.
Yeah, give me a card. Can you, if you had a card that you would make right now for Atali, that would be like a real card that could be printed realistically. What would you want right now that could help Atali out?
I guess the first thing that comes to mind is like a red version of World War Hulk now. Okay. But like it also gets around command tax. I guess like a second Hellkite Courser. That card exists.
All right, so you want that type of effect. Put from your command zone into play.
Yeah, you know what I would really love? We were kind of talking about this the other day. Like one in a red flash, but just for your commander. Put your commander from the command zone into play and then sacrifice it unless you pay its mana value.
Oh, yeah. That would be so good.
That would be insane.
That would be the coolest.
A 2-mana Atali would be so sweet.
That's a cool mechanic. Put from your command. Because is the dragon the only thing that does that? Put your commander from the command zone into play?
I think so. That moves it directly from the command zone into play without affecting how the command tax works at all.
I like that little workaround for command tax, and obviously it's insane in Atali. Yeah, I think those
like a sneak attack for your commander, but I feel like if they did a sneak attack, like a repeatable one, commander tax would apply. It's 1 red and then commander tax.
Interesting, yeah.
Which would still be really good for Atali, but that doesn't like help you with food chain because now like it's an activated ability. So food chain doesn't help.
That would be hard to have a sneak attack from the command zone, and you just like it just makes your commander like cost like 1 mana basically, and then you can. Like,
well, that's why I'm saying like commander tax goes with it. So the second time that you activate the sneak attack, then it's 3 mana.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah. So it's a 1 mana Atali, then a 3 mana Atali, and then a 5 mana.
Yeah, it's still too good.
We'll stick with red commander flash.
Yeah, red commander flash is a good one. Yeah, that's a good one. I asked this question, but I don't really have a good answer to it. I think if I would want anything, it would be like another card draw spell, not like Necro or that because that's too good, but something like a wheel, some sort of wheel effect. Another see a bunch of cards effect, something like Jessica's Will, something that sees cards and makes mana. I would love that.
Ooh, okay.
I would love something that's like
Ristic Study and Cabbage Merchant, but put together.
Yeah, like that. Just like a 1 mana black enchantment says whenever my opponent does anything, I get a treasure and I draw a card and I draw 2 more cards.
My favorite part about like making up cards is that like the ceiling always just like gets higher. Yeah, and I get a 5/5. And
realistically, if I were more Lotho effect, so if I were to ask for something like another type of Rag event, like a red mana 1 mana thing that says whenever my opponent casts a creature, I make a treasure or something.
Wizards heard us and made white way better, but now the gap's getting like way too bigger between white and red. We need some more red cards to pump up the decks that are already good. So we need more artifact dwarves. We need more fast mana in red.
I want more red legends that I can play in Sisei. There's only like 2 or 3 that I realistically play in Sisei. I want
as long as they meet those other criteria, then I'm happy. A red legend that sacrifices to make 2 mana of any color.
5 mana of any color.
5 mana of any color.
If it doesn't sacrifice, it stays in play because I need the pips.
For 0 mana, it's an activated ability you can use twice each turn.
It's a legendary blue-red creature that says when it enters, make Wooburg mana.
Ooh, I like that. Yeah.
That's what I want.
More things that say when it enters make Wooburg mana.
Yeah, that would be really good in Sisei.
Yeah, and make it cost 1 mana.
Well, no, I need it to cost 2 mana because it needs to make Sisei a 4/4.
Oh, why?
So that I can go find like Amanatu and then like flicker it, and then I can go find the Bolas and then flicker it, and then I can go find Oath and then flicker it, and then it's 5 mana to win the game with Sisei. So if it's a 2 mana legend that's 2 colors and it makes Wooburg when it enters, that's the card that I want to make for next year. Sisei players, you're welcome.
Great. Well, now that we've made the entire player base happy.
Yeah. You have anything else you want to talk about?
Honestly, that's mostly my predictions is that things are going to speed up.
I think faster. That's my thoughts for 2026 is I think cEDH gets faster. But besides that, I have no fucking idea. We could talk about goals. Do you have any goals for 2026?
Oh, do I have any goals for 2026? I'd like to win a tournament in 2026.
Yeah, me too.
I think that would be sweet. Now that I've hit the top 4 threshold in a cEDH tournament, I would like to try to take it to the next step. So I'm going to say that is my cEDH goal is to take Atali and win it in the finals.
I think you can do it. I believe in you.
We're going to have a bunch of tournaments that we'll be doing for Cloud City this year, too.
Do you know? Are you going to play a tally through and through the whole year? Every tournament? Lock it in?
Well,
Lock it in now?
here's my other thing. What other decks am I going to predict I'm going to put together?
I'm pretty locked in right now. I was really locked in on Terra for a while, and I still love Terra a lot, but I put Rockside back together, and that deck is so fucking awesome. So between those two, I'm not really sure if I'm going to choose one ultimately over the other, or just keep them both because they are kind of similar. But those two and Sisay, I'm pretty locked into 2026. These are the decks that I'm going to play. I love Sisay. I feel like I know how to win with the deck. I love Rockside. I love Underworld Breach and Necropotence and Born Upon the Wind and that whole shell. Those are my two strategies that I think I'm focusing on. I'm just going to like hyper-focus on those two strategies for 2026.
I think that's a good way to go. Yeah. I think that's kind of where I'm landing too, is that like I think I want Tali to still be my main deck. It's just insanely good in the meta right now. It's a deck that I can pilot the best, and it's the most fun deck ever, really. And then I'd like Tim the Malcolm as the way to kind of balance things out. I kind of wish it was Blue Farm, and the more that I play it, I
should play Blue Farm.
I'm like, I kind of wish it was Blue Farm.
You should. I think you should. I think about putting it together like every day. The deck is so good.
Because the other problem that I have right now is like I have too many options that I could put together for my third cEDH deck, and maybe turning Tim the Malcolm into Blue Farm will like kind of help me find the direction that I really want to go with my third deck.
Balance is stupid. What are you, casual? You know what I mean? Just play
Balance
good
is
decks.
stupid. Yeah, because what's the
You're
point
balancing
of
the colors? Like just like play the two good decks.
What am I, a filthy casual? Yeah.
No offense, obviously.
No offense, yeah, but like I shouldn't be limiting.
We're cEDH. It's cEDH.
Yeah, I should be playing the two best decks in the format.
Yeah, whichever two decks you think they are. And for that reason, for me, I should take Terra apart. I just feel like I accidentally win with that deck a lot, so I don't know why I'm going to keep. But Rockside and Sisay are the decks that I feel like they win a ton. They're really good. I know how to play them. Same for you with Tali. And Blue Farm is basically the same as Tim and Malcolm, except you get good win cons.
I can just win the game in more windows when I really need to. That's been my biggest issue with Tim the Malcolm's. Like, God damn, this is a great window I have.
Right? If only I could do something about it.
Nothing can be done.
Yeah, I think you should. I think Blue Farm is great. And it'll help you with Underworld Breach lines and help you be able to pick apart other people's Underworld Breach lines when they get to a spot where they can't get somewhere or something. Like the more that you know that line, I think it'll be good.
That's true. Yeah, it's been a while since I played an Underworld Breach deck like that. That's not just like VV. It's just like, oh, the Underworld Breach deck is in here so that you can like do it. Yeah,
right,
but like it's been a while since I played like a Grixis-based Underworld Breach deck. I think that would be really good for me. I think you're right.
And how many cards off is it? Like probably like 15?
Oh, probably a lot more. I think there's probably a lot of like dumb creatures that I'm going to end up cutting then too. Like I'm on like a lot of 4-drops. And I don't know how many of the 4-drops I want to keep. I don't think I want to keep Taru. I'm already thinking about cutting it in Tim the Malcolm where it's arguably better, I would think, because it's a little bit slower. I would end up getting more triggers off of it, but I just feel like I haven't been happy with the Taru. I understand why people have been happy with the Taru, but I know I'm an Atali player. I still play Taru, and even when I play it, I feel like every other card that is with it is outshining it all the time.
Yeah.
Like there's games where it has made me a lot of treasures, but I feel like the home's where it belongs in is Marnius. Like it belongs there way more than I think it is going to belong in a Tim the Deck or something like that.
I think we talked about this a little bit before, but I think specifically in Marnius and kind of Sisay, I think it makes sense in those decks, and especially as we get more things that make mana like that. We're going to keep on getting more Lothar type effects, and as we get more, this one's going to get replaced very quickly from everyone else.
So I guess that's something else I'm looking forward to that's happening, is that Taru's going to get cycled out of the format. I'm excited about that. Yeah,
but no, I think you should play Blue Farm. I mean, Nate plays Blue Farm, but that's okay. Nate can play other decks too, and
I can play other decks too. Like we have a lot of decks that get submitted for the channel. I love playing those too.
Realistically, it would be good to get it more on the channel because we don't actually like have Blue Farm on the channel a ton, and it's like the most popular cEDH deck by far.
Honestly,
so we
it's arguable that and Rograk Thrasios are the two best decks in cEDH.
Yeah.
And neither of those are lists that we have on the channel very frequently, if at all, really.
Yeah. Well, maybe we should play them a little bit more.
Maybe we should play them a little bit.
But it's nice to have the weirdo decks too.
Do you have any other goals or other decks that you want to put together here? I feel like I've been answering a lot of questions.
I don't have a ton of goals when it comes to decks that I want to build. I think I want to just continue. My goal is to not build more decks. My goal is to keep on learning the decks that I have more. Kind of my goal is, and we've talked about this a little bit, I think, but I would love to get another gameplay on the show somehow, like a Wednesday video. That's kind of my personal goal, is I would love to get another video. I'm interested in it being a 60 card format, maybe like Modern and then Legacy and then Vintage and then rotating around. I think that would be cool. So that's kind of my goal, I would say. And then just continue on doing this shit that we're doing with the tournaments and the community stuff and going to Magic Con cons and like continuing to meet a whole bunch of people in the cEDH community. That's always like an overarching goal. But like the main thing is I think I would like to figure out a way to get another gameplay onto the show, because I think that would be cool, and I would love to explore some of those other 1v1 formats, because that's how we both started playing Magic.
That's true,
I
yeah.
still have a lot of love for those formats, and I would love to visit them.
definitely lost a lot of my chops in those formats too.
There's so many things that you forget of, like little tiny things that just help with your overall Magic playing ability. So I would love to do that in 2026, figure out how to do that.
Yeah, I think so too.
You got anything else? Nothing, right? That's the end?
It can be,
The
yeah.
only thing else I would like, I could tell like a Rogsai story.
Like a Rogside joke. Rogside walks into a bar. Bartender says, "Why you 0-1?" He punches him with menace. Nothing happens.
Laugh. Now laugh. All right. Thanks so much. If you want to support us directly, you can do so on Patreon, like our $100 patrons.
Binks MTG, Wandering Around, Mike H, Tom Bieber, Cumulative Upkeep MTG, Nathan Cohen, Mr. Jerby, Okie Toad, Penguin Man 0089, Eli the Magic Eye, David Newman, Johnny Denver, Omelet, Rocky Hall, Pat Fire, Spingler, Larceny Roy, Zorboy Blue, Sparky B, Essie Phillip, Olden Groupie, Zach Hartley, Big Legs Banjo, Reactive, Sean in the Ice, The Works 472, Gear Bear, Garrett, Mace the Ace, Luke Cook, Connor Sipon, Joshua Day, Demon of Rosgrees, Peter Stewart, Corner Wild, Uncle Butts, Duke, Luke, Quad J, Hamid, Scott Hawk, and Baby Jeebus.
If you want to pick up any of our merch, you can do that at playtowinmtg.com.
Thanks, Dragon Show, for supporting the show. Use code PlayToWin5 at our affiliate link down below for 5% off.
You can follow us on the internet for more content.
Thank you for watching.
See you next time.
EXO, Sarge MTG, Rick, Sharticus, Max McComber, Meta, Ben Finelli, Jason Brooks, Safarius, Ash Wayne, Vietnam 69, Sarcastic, Mystic Muffin Man, Zachary Coulson, Dalton Poteet, Jan Wildfang, Thomas Bueno, and David Nelson.